because it got some part because you're like it's an addiction. You're not a moral felon, but sometimes it gets dark and dirty.
Absolutely.
And I remember, she had kids. She had a few kids, and we would black out. I blacked out all the windows. I instantly, I was in psychosis. Not only I had physical, audio, and visual hallucinations for a few years, man. And the last time the kids she had, we wasn't really taking care of them because we was too busy using. We wasn't leaving the house like talking about. And the state police hit the house and they took those kids. The state took our kids and stuff from us. And during that time, I remember the last time I went to see my mom. My mama probably, she had me at 45, so now she's old.
Built by the rested, you can't tell me nothing. Built by adversity, led by courage. Everybody doubted me, now everybody proud of me. I swear to God, I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. Built by the
What's going on, my world, man? Welcome back to your favorite podcast. It's your boy, Michael Oakley, Ronnie Leduff, Built by the Red Stick, presented by Elevate Treatment and Legacy Center. We come to you every Friday. Do me a favor, before you continue, because you're going to want to watch this whole thing, but before you continue through, go ahead, smash that subscribe button, leave a comment, like, share, do all the stuff we beg y'all to do every time. But without any further ado, we get the chance to alley-oop it again, man. We hadn't had a chance to alley-oop, so I'm going to alley-oop the introduction to my man.
Hey, stop.
Ronnie Leduff.
Wait. Everybody stop moving in here and shut that baby up from crying. We got a celebrity in the building. You are now in the presence of greatness.
If you don't know,
Now you about to know. We got Big Alec in the building. He a king everywhere he go amongst peasants. You know what I'm talking about? Dominique Fly for no reason Teasley in this thing. You know what I'm saying? It don't make no sense. Stop the fit. You talking about a real big speaker. You talking about somebody that's really in the trenches, that's really doing the work. I think the Migos made a song about him. They go, walk it like I talk it. Hey, walk it like I talk it. Man, we got Dominique Teasley in the Built by the Red Stick building, baby.
man.
Yes,
welcome.
Appreciate
Goodness.
You from the 3-1 great, huh?
3-1 great.
Yes.
3-1
Big
great.
Alec.
Look,
Yeah.
I need to hire y'all just to follow me around all day. Look, everywhere I go, I need y'all just to follow me around and talk that trash, man.
Yes, sir. Man, we are super honored, privileged.
This one's been in the
grateful.
works.
It's been in the work for a while.
All busy men,
Yeah.
and we had to make the
We
schedules
stayed
align.
consistent. I got sick. He a busy man. But we made it happen. And we here now. And we got you.
We got
And you drove all the way from Alec, man, to be
Yes,
here with
sir.
us.
Yes,
Man,
sir.
that's love.
Yeah,
That's love.
I was grateful just to be able to be a part of it, man. I see y'all boys always, doing the work and what we do. And, I was just honored to be able to be a part and to come down and be on the red stick.
Yes, Lord.
Man, we been wanted you, bro, but I was scared to ask you because I was like, we ain't there yet, Mike.
Oh, man,
we ain't
cut
there
it
yet.
out, man.
We gotta
Cut
get there.
Cut it out.
So for the people that are tuning in from Baton Rouge that might not know you, kind of tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, how you got there,
Okay, so what I do today, I'm an advocate. I'm a registered addiction counselor. I'm a substance use counselor at Rapides Parish Drug Court, where I do the African American male group out there. We do this thing called HEAT, Habilitation, Empowerment, Accountability Therapy, because for some people, especially the African American culture-wise, we never, rehabilitation really isn't the key, so we do habilitation, empowerment, accountability therapy. I also work with Central Louisiana Human Service District with a local LGE, local governing entity, and I'm over what's called the Mobile Crisis Team, where we have people with lived experience, peers, navigators placed in our emergency departments, and when people come in with overdose, they connect with them at the emergency room, follow them for a year, get them connected to treatment, let them know, look, you are not alone, and everybody on that team has lived
real big
experience.
stepper.
Hell yeah.
And also, I work for another organization called CLASS, Central Louisiana Healthy Living for All. And what I do there is teach a class called Balance, which is acceptance and commitment therapy, kind of use mindfulness and awareness to kind of teach us not to try and change, control, control or hold on to those thoughts, feelings, and emotions, and always, move towards our values no matter what we're feeling. And also, I have Project Rebuild, which when I'm in recovery, and before I got myself straight, the state police busted me, and they had this thing called the Meth Project when they busted me. And once I got myself straight, I said, man, you know what? They got this thing out there to clean up the streets called the Meth Project. Well, I'm going to start this thing called Project Rebuild, just showing people that we do recover, teaching people that addiction is a mental health disease and not just you're a moral felon. And so that's pretty much what I do today, So.
And y'all think,
and I'm a
I was
father.
about to say,
bruh,
we done found the one person that got more jobs than Ronnie.
I'm telling you, African?
No, yeah, I am. But look, and I gotta, and the most important thing, I almost forgot. I am a husband. I got a loving wife who,
Hell
when
yeah.
I'm doing all those things, are back at the fort, holding the kids down.
Most definitely. Got
And
shout
I
out to your
got
queen.
some beautiful kids. So I just
And
wanna put
grandson, man. You
that- Oh
can't-
yeah,
Lil
man.
Be,
Look,
Lil man be sticking.
Hendrix. That's his
Hendrix
name.
be sticking.
Hendrix. Yeah, he don't
Bruh,
miss.
he's
His mama
sticking.
keep him fly.
Ooh,
His mama
yeah.
keep
Hey,
him
let me
fly.
know who his shoe plug is. I could be that. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Mike. My bad.
Man,
I got excited.
I don't even know.
Where to start?
Yeah. First and foremost, it's crazy because a little backstory that y'all might not know is me and Dominique were, I guess, kind of starting out in this thing together. We went through LASAC together. That was 8 years ago.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe 8 years ago.
About 8 years ago, we were both starting out.
How long his dreads was then? Because he's shitting on me right now.
Oh man. And so it's been cool to watch you grow from afar. We catch up at all the conferences and stuff, but just to watch how you've become so prevalent in your community is really what our platform is about, is like community awareness, right? So like ours is built by the Red Stick, right? So that's what we're built by, from Baton Rouge. And we never really talk about this, but for those of y'all tuning in who don't know, Red Stick is
French. So Baton Rouge is French for red stick.
yeah.
And so that's what we built by Baton
a
Rouge, pretty
nickname-
much.
a
Yeah,
nickname for
yeah,
Baton
yeah.
Rouge.
The dude that discovered Baton Rouge, he was on a boat and it was had a red stick in the ground
Yeah.
that was marking the territory, and he said, "I shall call it Baton Rouge red stick."
So my man being from Alexandria, he's built by the 3-1 great.
Built by the 3-1 great. Man, I love the 318.
Yeah.
I love the 318. I don't love the back rows in 318.
Yeah.
I love the people in the 318.
So now, and before we really dive into all the great stuff you're doing, kind of you made reference to the recovery aspect. A, how much time you got these days, and B, kind of what were some of the trials and tribulations that led you to that point?
Okay, so my recovery date is my clean date is February the 11th, 2015. So I just
We just celebrated.
I just made 10
10.
years, double
Yeah.
digits, double digits. I can't drive or none of that yet. I still got about 6 years, 7 years to be able to drive, but I'm in double digits now.
You got your walk around sense, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
He got the X.
He got the X.
Right.
You know?
I'm just stunting on my X.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I ain't made it there yet. I got one more year.
Yeah.
One more year.
Yeah. So Mike and his mom both
Yep.
took that class with us. She was a sweetheart too. Make sure
Mama
you tell
Paula?
her I said, hey.
You met
yeah.
Mama Paula
Yeah.
before me?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Paula, I thought I was the only black wing. All right, we're gonna get on you later. Don't worry about it.
Moms used to bring snacks in there.
Oh, I can believe it. I can believe that.
Yeah, she looked out for us. But yeah, man. So coming to recovery, that was a process for me. My mom, she was a older lady when she had me. I say older lady. She was like 45 years old when she had me.
Yeah.
My dad, man, he was married. I was one of his outside kids. Growing up, my mom, she did everything she could for me. I had a bunch of sisters and brothers. I had a good mom, good dad, But something I realized, from being in recovery, is that the way I viewed myself when I was a kid, I really didn't feel like I was all that. I really didn't feel like I had a place I belonged. So I always say my first drug of choice was basketball, man.
Yeah.
When I played basketball, bro, everybody loved me. Basketball was the first thing I used outside of myself that made me feel whole, that made me feel seen, loved, appreciated, valued. Everybody wanted me on their team when I played basketball. And sadly, going into high school, I tore that knee up and got my little first taste of prescription drugs, opiates, excuse me, and also once I lost that drug of choice, one thing for sure in my neighborhood, I'm from Woodside, and if you listen to Houston rap, they got a rap group called DEA, Dead End Alliance, and you got Screw, Lil Kiki, all those people, that rap culture. Well, I'm from a neighborhood that was directly connected to that culture, so after that, I lost that. All I wanted to do was be a player, hustle, and sip drink, sip purple. Used to be Al Former back then and bar purple drink, and so I didn't know what addiction was or anything like that. I thought I was just doing what I was supposed to do. I was hustling, I was being cool, I was being fly. I had cars, rims, music in high school. And I just thought I was doing what most people do. By the time I was in the 12th grade, though, I was physically addicted to opiates. Me and my homeboys, we would go out on the weekend during high school, and during the week they was able to stop. Me, I brought a cold drink to school. I used opiates every day at school, which it was like 503s and 540s back then, just pain pills. And they were able to,
Do them on the weekends and cut them out during the
cut
week.
them out. And after that, my senior year, I think I caught my first felony charge, and my brothers were in the Marine Corps and the district attorney said he'll drop that charge if I go to the Marines. And so when I graduated high school, it was off to the Marine Corps I went. They dropped that charge, and I didn't know what an addiction was. And I remember being in basic training. At the end, the Navy come and take your wisdom teeth out if you want them to. I seen people coming back with them make house drowsiness. I signing up. Take them out.
Take them out.
And I remember being at basic, sending that labor home on a letter saying, like, I'm all up here getting high. And so, just fast forward, my Marine Corps career didn't last very long. Ended up getting a bad conduct discharge from the Marine Corps, catching some charges. Ended up doing time in the brig. And when I got that bad conduct discharge, released back over to the state of Louisiana, ended up doing some time from a charge I had caught in DeQuincy and CCC. Got out, same story, man. Like still not knowing, like, bro, you got an addiction, you got a problem. I just thought, I just like to sip, serve, hustle, and be player. I had 2 kids also in my high school. My 12th grade year, I had one and one on the way. And
You was cutting up.
Went to work early.
Say couches pull out. I don't. I'm with you.
I was cutting up in high school, man. But I wasn't being a father to those kids. I was too busy running the streets. When I got out of prison the first time, DOC, I remember being in separation platoon from the Marine Corps, and that platoon sergeant, he told me, say, you ain't gonna never be, the S word. And that stuck with me. But when I got out of prison, I ended up going to Northwestern. So I'm going to go to college, take up criminal justice. I'm going to go be a lawyer. Even though I got a conviction, they gave me financial aid. And as soon as I got that financial aid, same story, straight to Houston, getting cases of Serb and pills and just hustling, living that lifestyle. Fast forward another few years, I didn't stay in school that long. I wasn't going to class. I was too concerned about using and hustling. Ended up doing more time, getting locked up again, and same story. That went on for years, not being a good father. Bad conduct discharge from the Marine Corps, just ripping and running in the streets using opiates. And the last time when I went, some years have passed by now, like 10 years, like same thing. And I ended up meeting this girl when I got out. That's the next solution, a girl.
Yep. It always works out.
Yeah, she was a nice little Creole and Hispanic girl. Originally, they was from like Long Beach, and they introduced me to. She hung with a different crowd, and they introduced me to something I had never heard of, being a black man. I had never heard of crystal meth in 2010, man, and they introduced me to that, and I started selling it. Made the most money I ever made in my drug dealing career. I became a real drug dealer.
Yeah.
But I'm somebody who use every
You
day.
broke the rule.
I
You broke the
the
number
rule.
one rule.
I broke
Get
the number
high on
one
your own
rule.
supply.
Don't get high on your own supply. Now, I never would have did something like, I always thought an addict back in the day was somebody who smoked crack,
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
hard
Same,
drugs,
same.
like I never thought that could become me. And so one day this chick, her brother slash cousin, he was like, man, if you eat it, it's just like eating a pill. So I started eating crystal meth, and that's when all hell broke loose for me. And so we got strong mental health in my family. My, brother's schizophrenic, just a lot of mental health in my family. And then, once I started eating it, it started affecting me a lot. And then one day he came to me, bro, and he said, if you do it like this, you only have to do it one day. And before you know it, I was injecting crystal meth. And when I started injecting crystal meth, bro, it put me into a whole nother world, psychosis.
Yep.
Yeah.
I really thought I had sold my soul to the girl I was with, man. We both were using. Like, this the part of my story I don't like to tell. Because, it got some part, because, you're like, it's an addiction. You're not a moral felon. But sometimes it gets dark and dirty.
Absolutely.
And I remember, she had kids. She had a few kids, and we would black out. I blacked out all the windows. I instantly, I was in psychosis. Not only I had physical, audio, and visual hallucinations for a few years, man. And the last time the kids she had, we wasn't really taking care of them because we was too busy using. We wasn't leaving the house like talking about. And the state police hit the house, and they took those kids. The state took our kids and stuff from us. And during that time, I remember the last time I went to see my mom. My mama probably, she had me at 45, so now she's older. And I'll never forget my mama, she had them Jeffrey Dahmer glasses. And she dropped to her knees on the concrete and held her hands up to the sky and said, God, please save my baby, because I'm in this psychosis. I got track marks from my forehead to my feet. Man, I'm bad off. And so now I'm not hustling no more. I'm just really using.
Yep.
Nobody want to mess with me. I can't go around none of my old friends because now I became that person who I thought was an addict. I got track marks on me. I'm hearing voices. I'm talking to myself. And the girl ended up getting pregnant. And so, come on now, I know I'm better than this. Now we got to stop. She pregnant. And, I remember this, the part of, I told her, like, you got to stop. And then I remember, I said, how am I going to make her stop? And I can't stop. And so we used the whole time she was pregnant. We didn't go to one doctor's appointment. And so at this point, I'm in psychosis. I'm, literally, man, at one point, man, I was bathing with my boxers on because the psychosis, I would feel stuff and think stuff was in the shower trying to get me, hear the voices all the time, in the wall sounding like static. I would always hear my mama crying to us, like, please save my baby. Like, I could just hear her crying in my head all the time. And so one day my sister, the only one of my sisters I'm scared of, they came and got this young lady who was pregnant and took her to my mom's house. And I remember she probably was about 6 months pregnant. Within a couple of weeks, man, they called me and said, you better get your tail to this hospital. This girl's going in. She might have been about 7 months or a little more before, but she was going into labor. So, bro, I remember getting to this hospital. First, I told my sister, like, I ain't coming up there. Y'all trying to set me up.
Yeah.
Y'all trying to see, And I remember getting up there to that hospital out my mind and going into that hospital room. She had the babies because we didn't know she was pregnant with twins.
Wow.
And so the twins are in NIC unit literally fighting for their life because their lungs wasn't developed. They was born so premature. And I remember, bro, going into that hospital room, going in the bathroom, squatting down on my arm, using, giving her stuff. And we probably stayed at the hospital another day or two. For sure, I know me, because we started accusing each other of sleeping with the nurses and the doctors. In psychosis, thinking that the nurses or the doctors want us
I'm sorry.
Bruh, nah, for real, it was bad. And I remember we did get to go to that NIC unit one time and see the babies, and I remember we had to name them. I said, I want to name them Penelope and Felipe, and everybody was like, what? Like, I don't know why I wanted to name them that, so they ain't let me name them that, bro. And, they kicked us out the hospital, man, and I'll never forget that day when they kicked us out that hospital, bro, because like it was like I was in a movie. I thought because my psychosis, I thought everybody and everyone could hear me like I was on broadcast, like the Truman Show or something.
Yep.
And so this day, man, I bust out running out the hospital. I'm crying, and it's pouring down rain. I'm talking about raining like crazy. And I never forget I was running that day. I don't know where I had a hammer from. I had a hammer, and I was running, and I remember thinking like, man.
Did you really have a hammer?
I had a hammer.
Okay.
I don't know where I had a hammer from, bro. But I had a hammer on me. and I'm literally running from that hospital with a hammer, bro. And I remember thinking, man, I'm so messed up that God was crying for me like that, you know. And one of my homegirls who I thought was a part of whatever, because I thought everything was some type of Illuminati or something like that. And she just pulled up out of nowhere, picked me up, and took me to her house. And I just went right back to using even more. And now the state had, the state took those babies too. And so I ended up getting locked up again, man. And I had gotten to drug court, and I went on the run from drug court, I remember being in drug court in the beginning, bro, and I thought that when I go and take a urine test, that I could, with my mind, make my pee clean before it go in the cup.
You was doing some good stuff.
I mean,
you was doing it, yeah.
I remember being in there saying, pee be clean, pee be clean.
Boy, that's the craziest shit that we do though when we out there ripping.
And I feel like I'm living it because I've done this type of stuff.
Right.
I'm telling you.
right. So man, I just boom, on the run, just gone, just using, trying not to feel who I had became. Then I ended up getting locked up again, and so I'm locked up and I'm laying in there, bro, and I'm laying in the bed, and in our jail, like you could see the light shine in, but you can't see out the window.
Right.
And I'm laying there, bro, and the people say, Teasley, everything you got. And I jump up and I go in the day room. I'm thinking I'm finna go home. I say, the people just called me. Everybody in the jail busts out laughing. And I think that was the lowest I ever felt because I'm the lowest person in the jail now. You know what I'm saying? Like, they's like, man, that stuff messed you up. And I went and laid back down, bro. And I guess that's when somebody's prayers was answered because I wasn't praying no more, bro.
Right.
I literally, if you ever... I literally was living in a dark world spiritually.
Yeah.
Like, bruh, it was bad. And they say the same guard I seen open the door and say, Teasley, everything you got. And bro, even though I was a man with no purpose, even though I was hopeless, even though I had track marks, even though my hair was all matted, even though I was that person, I thought I was finna go home and I was ready to go get something, anything to make me feel different than what I was feeling. But it was a sheriff, and they took me over to a treatment center. And that was the first time I ever went to treatment. And when I got to treatment, bro, let me show you how sick I was. I got to treatment. They brought me to a place that can help me with my sickness. Soon as I got there, I wanted to know who had the caliprisas, who got Wellbutrin, who got Seroquel, who got anything that I could use to make me feel different so I wouldn't have to look in the mirror. I'm at a place for healing and a place to get better, and I'm trying to take other people's psych meds.
Yep. Just to get out yourself.
Yep.
Just to get out myself. And when I look back, I was like, man. And so I'm in treatment now.
What year is it now?
This 2015.
Okay,
It's
all right.
2015. It's January or February 2015.
Okay.
Welcome to Elevate, a place for people like you, built by people just like you.
We're committed to helping all elevate from the destruction of addiction.
I hope I would give somebody who's either new in recovery or that's currently struggling with addictions, today can be the last day. that you struggle the last day, that you wonder how you're going to have to chase down that drink, that fix, whatever the case may be for you.
At Elevate, we embody more than treatment. It's about passion, love, understanding, truly being your partner on your path to recovery.
Our staff treats substance abuse and co-occurring mental health disorders with a multidisciplinary approach to best fit our clients' needs. We all just embrace each other. We genuinely care, check up on each other. And it's not an act. You matter. You're more than what you've allowed yourself to assume you were.
When perseverance, hard work, and dedication meets, success happens.
At Elevate, we have a variety of programs to fit our clients' personal needs, such as intensive outpatient, and the aftercare program.
If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, give us a call. Elevate. Do more than recover. Leave a legacy.
And I'm in treatment, and these people coming in the treatment center, sharing their experience, strength, and hope, that type stuff. And every time after the meeting, I tell them, I know y'all with the Illuminati. I think everybody in the treatment center, the police, and everybody coming there was Illuminati. And so I don't know what I'm doing there. I'm just sitting there. I'm just sitting on my hands. And this girl, her name is Anastasia. I ain't gonna say her last name, M. I knew her from out there using. And she came into the treatment center and she shared her story. The first time she came, I told her, I know y'all with the Illuminati. She laughed, boy, that stuff. But the next time she came, bro, she was sharing, and I seen a light coming off her. And I'm like, I know her from out there. She used to be with my homeboy, she was, even though I was that person, I thought I was, still thought.
Right.
But I know her from out there, bro. And something she was like, 3 things that are indispensable: honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. And I'm just sitting there looking at her like she became like a goddess to me or something. And I'm like, if she could do it, then maybe I could do it. And that was the first time I became open-minded to saying I had an addiction, to realizing that I really needed help, and to making a change. And from that moment, man, I called my people, bring me some cigarettes, and I started the process, man. I became open-minded, and through that process of me being in treatment, I said I want to be a tech one day, and I want to go into the treatment center and share. That was my biggest dream.
Right.
Be a tech and go into the treatment centers and share to people my experience, strength, and hope. Also, I still had the psychosis. I told God, I say, look, God, if you stop this psychosis, I promise you I'll spend the rest of my days teaching people, because the more I learn, I'm like, ooh, nobody in the hood know that addiction is a disease. I need to tell them, And so it made me, it gave me a purpose. And so, after that, man, it was history. I got out. I ended up going to an Oxford house. I ended up doing the drug court program, finishing that. My first job was at Arby's. Thank you for choosing Arby's. My name is Dominic. I was the best Arby's worker in this country. I'm sure.
Chicken, what you picking?
Chicken, baby.
Man, you go to Arby's somewhere, wherever they corporate at, they probably got a picture of me. I'm telling you. I was riding a bike. I was in drug court, bro. I was starting to iron my clothes, wearing my little visor. That job gave me more than anything, because I was starting to learn to love myself again.
Yes, indeed.
Man, bro,
Yes, indeed.
that shit bringing
The
tears to my eyes.
desperation,
I ain't gonna
man.
even lie to you, bro. I'm sitting over here just listening.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. Well, keep going, bro. Don't
Yeah.
stop now.
So I'm working at Arby's now. I'm going to, so I'm going to every meeting in the city. They said do 90 meetings in 90 days, bro. I probably did 300.
Yeah.
I'm doing AA, NA, see it, whatever they got. I'm doing it because, bro, I didn't want to go back to being that person that I was. I had a lot of places I can go, but everything reminded me of that lifestyle. Because even if I stopped using culturally, my mind told me, now you can hustle.
Yeah,
Now you
man.
can really sell a brick. You know what I mean? You're not using. And so me staying connected to those meetings and stuff, it kind of helped me get through that lifestyle because, you know, the lifestyle for us is detrimental too. And so I
Talked about that a couple episodes
Yup.
ago.
and man, and everything after that, you know, that sacrifice I made, that deal I made with God, I say, you know, God's been doing it. I working at Arby's, a lady who worked at a treatment center came in the Arby's. She say, "See, son, that's the type of person I want to work for me." I was so happy and, you know, polite. I say, "Where you work?" She said, she worked at Edgefield Recovery Center.
Shout out Edgefield.
Yep. Anastasia also worked at
I knew who you was talking about when you
Edgefield
said.
Recovery Center too.
Yeah.
So boom, I'm like, I'm in recovery. I've been working at Arby's for 16 months. And so I ended up getting a job at Edgefield Recovery Center. Started off there as a tech. Worked my way up as a tech to intake coordinator. And then when I was doing intake coordinator, I ended up going to LASAC when I met Mike. And that's like I always say, a trade school for substance use counseling. And I ended up getting my CIT. Now check this out. So I'm working at Edgefield. We graduate. While one of the counselors fall and break her arm, I'm like, come on, God, don't be breaking people arms for me. She fell and broke her arm. The administrator say, "Would you like to fill in her spot?" Right at the same time, and boom, that's how I ended up. I started being a counselor, a CIT, working as a counselor out there. I had a sister live out here in Baton Rouge, one of my biggest support. And when I would come to LASIK, she would support me. So I ended up start doing, the CIT work out there. And then another class, I'm at this overdose awareness event. And this lady, she's like, somebody asked me for my phone number and my name. And she said, Dominique Teasley. And this lady had purple hair. I'm like, who is this? And she said, I want you to come work for me. You ready to do some work? Because I was still working at Arby's and the treatment center. And so I ended up, Ann Lowry, she hired me on that class to do and train me in mindfulness and acceptance and commitment therapy, and started working out there. And I did that at Edgefield for a couple more years full time, and ended up during COVID, the local LGE had an opening to start that mobile crisis team, and that was kind of like a part of my vision, and I ended up doing that. Now, through that process of Oxford and drug court and all that, I'm sitting in a meeting one day, and I got this man, and he said, I got my kids from the state, and I wanted to give them back. And I'm sitting there with over 6 months clean, and my kids are in state's custody, the twins. And I say, dang, I'm worried about what she's doing and not doing. I'm them kids' father, So I went up to the self-help desk, and it was actually, they were terminating all parental rights for the twins the day I went, and they didn't even know who I was. And the judge said, well, if his kids, let's give him an opportunity to fight for his kids. And 6 months later, I got sole custody of those twins from the state.
Man,
I always say, bro, I never had been a father, even though I had two older kids. And I remember getting those twins back, posting a picture on Facebook saying super dad, but going to every meeting in town, dropping the twins off with my mama, and somebody in the room say, bro, you doing the same stuff you was doing when you was using, giving your responsibilities to somebody else. But I had never been a father, and I didn't really have that father feel. But when they told me that, I started doing things that a father would do. And then I started to internalize. Then I started to feel like a father. Then I'm like, oh, this is what this is. But see, I thought the feeling would come first. But the feeling comes from the doing.
Action.
I had to do it, and then I started to feel like I was there.
That was the last episode. Don't try, just do it.
Don't try, just do it.
My oldest sons, one of them, he came and lived with us a little bit throughout high school. He ended up going to the Air Force. He's been in the Air Force for a couple of years now. Me and my oldest son, he just moved back from Vegas, living with us, back and forth with us and his brother. Beautiful relationship with them and their mothers. Man, and I ended up, I always say I was praying for a queen. I was working at Arby's. This woman had to be, I'm working at Arby's, bro. This woman, not one of us, just a normal, beautiful human. like, bro, she used to come up to Arby's and sit over at the table and eat lunch with. I'm like, bro, but I know I got her though. See, I had got them twins. So she ain't married me. I think she seen them twins. She was like, them twins need a good mama in their life, you know? I always pick with her about that. But, you know, I always say I was praying for a queen, man, and God sent me an angel because my wife's name is Angel, and we ended up
Well, I'm
getting
finna
married.
still it. I hope my wife don't see this so she can think I came up with it.
Look, bruh, I didn't even have 2 years in recovery, and she ended up marrying me, you know, like 2 years, I was still, you know.
Oh yeah, I done told some
Toe up.
stuff up at 2 years now.
Yeah.
Boy.
Look, I was toe up, and man, and so man, through this journey, bro, you know, like, and then you know, so it's just service. You know, I was doing a project rebuild with advocating for people in our community, and it's just service, service, service. But I'm gonna tell you something, you know, in year 10, what I'm realizing that, you know, I sacrifice so much in helping others that a lot of times I leave, you know, a lot of strain on the family, right? My first few years, bro, like my son wasn't in football and none of that because I didn't have time.
Yep.
You know, but my son, he started acting a certain way. So, you know, the last 4 or 5 years, you know, he's in football, all that type of stuff. But I realized something that even in recovery, bro, that sometimes I'll use and say it's God's will when it's really self-will. Do I really need to be working 5 jobs? Or do I really just need to feel like I'm worthy? You feel what I'm saying? That hurt stuff. Do I really need to
Say it again.
to
Say it again for the people in the back. I've been telling him this for 3 years.
I'm over here taking notes right now.
Because look,
Right,
you know,
right.
You preaching to me.
and we
right
talk
now,
about it all the
bro.
time. And
God, he preaching.
there's such a fine balance because people like us are so terrified of the lifestyle we used to live and going back to that that we drive to make sure we go do that. But so many times we neglect some of the beautiful gifts that God gave us, trying to keep it up, and it's all about finding that balance, right?
Yes, sir.
Before we go, because I wanted to bring something up because it's always a topic that me and Ronnie talk about, and I make sure to tell people that I'm never naive to the fact of the cultural differences
Yep.
that myself and y'all face with mental health, with addiction, right? And so you made reference to leading an all-black group at drug court. You made reference to the HEAT program. Is that right? And so what do you think is the continued solution to people like you and Ronnie bringing back and bringing awareness to y'all's culture?
Yeah, that's cool, bro. I appreciate you taking the time to ask that because with the African American community, one thing we have to look at is it's different. When you think about your normal therapies, most of that stuff the studies were done on middle-aged white families living in
Suburban
good.
American, yeah.
And so how many of those were done on kids that's living in food deserts, that's living in the hood? And it goes all the way back to slavery. Once you come out of slavery, then we have what Jim Crow.
Yeah.
We got that type of stuff. Then we have segregation, redlining, and then what happens? Then you go into mass incarceration, to where they big media will produce all this. We like this. This is flashy.
Absolutely.
This is cool. And then on the back end, they get it. So
We had Percy Keith on a couple of episodes ago, and he said this very similar thing is like the media produces and promotes the music that being a drug dealer is cool, driving the flashy things are cool.
Yep.
who own the private prison systems?
Yep.
Yeah.
The same people. So they getting it on both ends and bringing awareness to let African Americans know, like, and sometimes you have to be real with them. It's like telling them, like, bro, you being pimped. Guess what? The system making money off you, and guess who gotta take up the slack? Your mama, your sister. So really the system is really pimping you, right? So I think with the African Americans kind of bringing awareness and just letting them know, like, bro, how you got here. Look in the 80s with crack cocaine.
Yeah.
Like just bringing awareness, letting them know how you got here, and then allowing them to make a informed decision. Like, are you doing this, or have you been just trained to do this? And just bringing that awareness. Man, this. I was doing this training, and it was weird. They were talking about these two guys that were fishing, and they're fishing on this river, and all of a sudden, babies just start flowing down this river, right? And so both of the guys take out running. One of them take out running, jump in the water, and he start taking babies out the water. The other guy just keeps running. So the guy in the water, he like, bro, what are you doing? Get down here in this water and help me get these babies out the water. And the other guy told him, he like, nah, you just keep getting the babies out the water. I need to run up here to see why the babies are being put in the water. And so what that kind of says is we need why. What's the why? Like, why are you doing it? Why is it happening?
One of my favorite quotes was from one of my I went to treatment 5 times. And so the very first time, one of the counselors said something, and I've said it on here before, and I don't know why it stuck so well to me, the analogy. Like, I understand the concept, and it's a beautiful concept, but he said so many times we want to see why the jackass is in the ditch instead of figuring out how to get him out the ditch and stuff like that. And same thing, like, we want to figure out how to get the babies out the water. We need to figure out why are they going in the water.
Why are they going in the water? But we need all of it to come together. So we need people who are fixing broken systems like food desert and the pollution in our communities and the drugs in our community and what's available and the jobs and the what you call it, zoning and stuff like that. We need people fixing that, and we need people getting the babies out the water. But if we don't have people fixing this, then it's just people getting babies out of water. It's always going to be babies in the water. So
and me and Ronnie, we talk about that all the time, is that there's not one person who's going to just be able to fix everything. We have to come to a collective unit and actually identify what the real problem is, right? And then we got to come together and fix the homelessness, fix the education system, fix the infrastructure system, fix how we view addicts versus how we view mental health versus where and like you said,
the families.
And that's we
the
talked
trauma.
We literally talked about
Just
that.
talking about that, man.
And bring awareness to it. And that's why, I always shout out Ronnie, because Ronnie is in the community. If you're free, March 29th, my man is speaking at
Families with a Broken Heart.
Families with a Broken Heart.
Yeah.
March
on
29th.
Greenwood Springs Road at a church.
And so
we got more deets later.
Yeah. And so I applaud you for like we said, man, we were both you were probably around 2 years sober. I got sober in March of 2016, so I'm about a year behind you. So I was probably about a year sober when we started, and to see the growth and the impact that you make. Every time I go to a conference up north, not even up north.
Be anywhere.
Baton Rouge, Lafayette, your name rings and what you do, and I know that you've made a lot of sacrifices, but I also know that you've helped a lot of people. So I give you your flowers, as they say.
Man, Dominique got me out of a ticket, bro. I was speeding one day. I'll never forget. I'm in my city. He was like, bro, why you driving so fast? I'm like, man, Dominique speaking at LASAC. I'm trying to catch it. He say, Dominique Teasley. Go ahead, sir. Have a good day. Matter of fact, I'm going to give you an escort. Name carry weight.
What's up, Mel?
Best hype man in the business, bro.
Yeah, I do.
Best hype man. Look, best hype man in the business.
Let me say this before we go, because about self-will and God's will. Because sometimes, I do think that self-will and God will get confused.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
With so many jobs and stuff, bro. And I think you kind of finished it, but being able to find balance and, be able to be there for my family, my community, and be there for myself,
Absolutely.
Is you gotta find great balance in there. If not, you know what I noticed, we'll start using those external things like drugs, but not even a substance, but just using external things.
Yeah, absolutely. So I told
But I'm struggling with that right now.
I need your fix. You know, like I need a fix. I need a.
I need somebody to tell me they love me, or I need
Right,
somebody to
right.
tell me they're proud of. So
Man.
I still to this day, right? March 1st, I celebrated 9 years. But still to this day, I attend my own therapy. And my counselor told me one time around 6.5, 7 years sober, because I was using, I was running and running and running and running. I was just starting Elevate. Elevate was in its infancy stages. And I'm doing all of this stuff, and I recognized that I was kind of neglecting my kids. And not, maybe neglect's not the word, but kind of not prioritizing them the way that I should. And he told me, he said, you know, one of the things you got to be careful about is that you get, and I'm going to try to say this in a not confusing way, but you get so good at having that connection with God and seeing God's will that you start to use God's will as a defect of character. You start to use it as an excuse to do what really you want to do.
Right.
And it's a, like you said, it's not necessarily this thing that leads you to maybe relapse or really operate within all that stuff that we were doing before, but it disconnects you from things. And I'm a firm believer that God came into my life and restored my life, and he gave me a lot of beautiful blessings, and he gave me a lot of beautiful abilities. But I also refuse, and I have to tell myself this a lot, and I'm not perfect at it, but I have to remind myself that I refuse to believe that God gave me all those beautiful blessings to neglect them with all my ability.
And we gotta learn we gotta love, because man, it all goes back to that inner child, bro.
Absolutely.
We have to love that inner child. We have to let it know that it's worthy, that it's good enough, that you know that is perfect.
It's powerful.
And we gonna protect it, and it's safe. And we got you. We gotta have those we gotta parent that
Ourself,
inner child.
yeah.
We got to, man. If not,
And I've quoted it probably a million times, but it always, like when we get on loving that inner child or loving yourself, it always brings me back to the Marianne Williamson poem, Our Greatest Fear. And our greatest fear is not that we are inadequate, it's that we are powerful beyond measure. It says, you know, we are all meant to shine as children of God. You know, it's not just in some of us. And as we, in our profession, help other people, like you said, we have to remind ourselves that inner child inside of us and that adult inside of us, we're worthy too. That light deserves to shine in us. We're a child of God too. Like you know, it's why when you're on an airplane, they tell you, if you're with an infant, you know, put your mask on first, then you know, save the child.
Hey, man. Yeah. So real quick, I just want to do this part.
Yeah.
We see you got the Stop the Fit hat on, right?
yeah. So
what's that about, and where can they find it?
check this out. I'm at a nationwide conference in California, Los Angeles, and I ain't saying I skipped a day or skipped some time at the conference, but I ended up on the boardwalk, or not the boardwalk, on the strip in L.A. and Hollywood. And man, we see these guys, man, at this table, and they got Stop the Fit hats, and I'm like, what? And so we go and talk to them and end up instantly making like a beautiful relationship, partnership with them. You can go on Instagram to Stop the Fit _US and get with them guys. They send us hats. We we promote the brand. Just we partner with them because it's like literally, bro, it's killing our people, man. It's killing our people.
Younger and younger and younger.
Yeah.
And like, it's not like, of course we're getting older, but it's not the fact that we're getting older that it seems like it's killing younger people.
No.
It's literally killing younger
more people in the last 5 years that has died than you've known in your whole entire life.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Facts.
That's
And
big.
so yeah, man, stop the fence. Shout out to them guys on that movement, man.
yeah, we'll link. We'll tag them, or we'll put a link in the
Yeah, for
description.
sure.
So y'all make sure to go click on that. Look at their.
We got some faithful viewers, man, and subscribers too. So they gonna
Right,
run it up.
right,
Oh yeah,
right.
they gonna run it up.
Yes, sir.
So before we do the wrap up, man, Ronnie, you got anything else?
Man, listen, I was over here mesmerized the entire time.
It was powerful.
I was
It was
floating.
powerful.
And it's so surreal to me because we got a little age difference. We're not from, you from 318, I'm from 225. But when you was telling your story, it was like I can feel it, right? And it goes back to that part in the book where it says the feeling that's indescribably wonderful. We never met till we met. But the same stuff you've been through is the same stuff I struggle with. And even having that balance is something I'm struggling with now. So, but I was just a student. I couldn't even ask questions I wanted to ask because I'm just like, I'm getting chill bumps thinking about it again. Like, man, that was so powerful. The world deserved to see it. Man, God got a special calling in your life. I can feel it.
Right. Thank
And
you.
I'm just glad to be a part of it, man. And just keep doing what you're doing because you look like me. So it gives people like me an opportunity to be great and do what I'm doing, man.
You know, people always be like, Ronnie, like just because we black, bro, don't mean we like. He got locks, I got locks, and everybody like. Ronnie, like, is it anybody else down there?
That's a real story.
Yeah,
I
they
know.
always do.
True story. A lady thought I was you. I used your name twice, bro. I'm sorry.
My wife told me she met you too. Like,
yeah. When we was in Lake Charles.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
She was
I
sitting
remember.
next to us. Yeah. So I used your name up twice, bro. You really carry weight, bro. I got a free meal because of Dominique, man. Thank you. That's Lord.
Before we go, tell the people how they can find you or reach out to you, man.
You could reach out to me on Dominique Teasley on Facebook. On TikTok, I'm Project Rebuild 1111. I think on Instagram, I'm the same, Absolute 1111. And also, if you're in Region 6, those 8 parishes, Wynn, Avals, LaSalle, Rapides, Grant, Vernon, Concordia, and Callahoola. Y'all, if y'all need help, if you need somebody to support you, if you're struggling, it's free. You can always call the Mobile Crisis Hotline.
Absolutely.
It's 318-664-4244. And I just want to remind everybody that they are worthy, and go and find a mirror and look at yourself and tell yourself that you are worth being loved, and no matter what you've been through, no matter what you're going to go through, that you are worth it. God's love you. God is in you. And peace and blessings to you all.
That's the wrap up right
Yes,
there.
Lord.
We'll see y'all next
Yes,
week.
Lord.
He nothing else. And he do respond. I will say that. He famous. He busy, but he do respond.
Oh man.
Shout out David too, man. Work with you at the Mobile Crisis. David G.
Oh, David. Yeah, man.
yeah.
David left and went to Florida on me, man.
No shout out to David. I take that back. Shout
David
out to Jess.
Garcia, man, come
Yeah,
back
David.
and work. We got Jess Michelle.
Shout out to Jess. Then that's my new guy. there.
Shawanda
I haven't met her
McClain.
yet.
You gonna love her, man.
Okay.
She like culturally, like she from the, and everybody love her. Look, she work at Rapides. She got the nurses and doctors calling her black over there. I just love her to death. We got Stephanie McGinnis. Me and her, we're the two that started it. With Casey McDaniel, she's our deputy director. And Miss Becky Craig, executive director. And also we have Brian Woodridge. And we also have a new girl. Y'all may know her name's Rebecca Whitehead. I think she's from this area.
We know Rebecca.
Yeah, we just got her on. She working over there with me now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes,
And what's the lady name at the building I went to that time with Dr. Daigle when we met with the group? What Jarvis said?
That's at Class. You got Ann Lowry with
Ann.
Class.
Yeah,
Ann
yeah,
and
yeah,
Alex.
yeah.
She's actually the one put me into
Shout out
like,
Miss
community
Ann.
work
Like her.
on a professor. Oh yeah, she the real deal.
Oh,
She
yeah.
for the cause.
Oh, yeah.
I don't care what the cause is. If it's
She's
the
for-
cause,
Nah,
she's
for
for it.
sure. For sure.
Man, well,
Man,
look,
we appreciate you.
I was about to say,
Yeah.
And shout out Jarvis, Project
My
Rebuild.
dude.
Me and him do Project
Jarvis
Rebuild
F, my
together.
guy.
He got
My
his
guy.
hair cut. His neck was broke because I kind of hit him with a hook.
Hey, and I swear I'm gonna let you go, bro. I
Oh, no,
seen
you're
two
good.
Black dudes coming to conference. He grilled up.
I
James
was
on his
there.
feet. Oh,
I was
man.
there.
I say, oh yeah, AA turn.
I
We
was there.
It's lit.
Look,
Jarvis got braids, grill,
Look,
shining.
in the beginning, like I'm like, because in the beginning he would like wear like his like he kind of dressed now, but he would wear like street clothes. I'm like, bro, you can't like.
I needed to see that.
Look, he say, and then, bro, I realized like I didn't used to wear J's to work, but now guess what? Because Jarvis showed me like, bro, I'm not changing. Like I'm gonna dress
Relatability.
like this.
People need to
Relatability.
relate to that. I
Right,
needed to
right.
see that, man.
Relatability,
Yes,
man.
sir.
Yep. So
Shout out
now-
my guy Jarvis, man. Stop
Already.
punching on my dude too.
Yeah.
Well, look, man, continue to do the great work. Keep shining. And Ronnie, you know the deal, baby.
You know the deal. Listen,
You know the
y'all.
deal. Our time is
As
coming.
always, this is my worst part of the program because I have to leave all you beautiful people, and I can't wait till next week to see you again. Man, we love what we doing. Y'all hear my man Big Teasley came in here and just blessed us, dropped some jewels.
Absolutely.
As always, if you're struggling with alcohol or drug addiction, mental health struggles, you can reach out to us, Ronnie Leduff on Facebook, Michael Axelrod Oakley on Facebook, or even the Built by the Red Stick page on Facebook. And as always, we'll be back at the same time, at the same place, with the same producer, baby. Built by the Red Stick, built by adversity, led by courage.
We love y'all.
Yes, sir.
Yes,